fast! Take out the flanker! Right there! Right there! Hostile civilian targeted.
Oh.
I'm out! Shoot him, damn it! No line of sight here. Don't let up! Got one right over there.
Don't see him!
Get around that shield.
Gotta ditch this place.
Stay from here.
That's one less division agent.
Get over here. Target in my sights. But I can't see.
Don't sweat them, drummer.
Target took it.
Over there!
Right here.
Man.
Shit! Dead. Got him in my sights. Target sighted.
What's up guys, hopefully you did enjoy the gameplay. Heartbreaker has received quite a big buff in this update, and Heartbreaker was one of the strongest builds in the game anyway before the update, so I wanted to post this setup. This is my favorite build right now actually, and this is my version of Heartbreaker that I recommend you guys use. This is the version of Heartbreaker that I recommend. This is how I want to run it. So hopefully you do enjoy this video. If you do, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on X and on Twitch as well. So with this setup, I wanted to try and get as much bonus armor as possible, and I think using the Heartbreaker backpack was necessary. I did try it with the Matador with Adrenaline Rush, and it was good, but you can get so much more from the backpack, and it just helped me a lot. This setup is perfect for solo legendary, group play legendary, any difficulty in the open world. You can go play with global modifiers on, off, directives on. It's just an absolute beast because we can get up close and personal, tank huge amounts of damage even on legendary, and dish out millions and millions of damage a shot, which is quite strong. Now I have opted for a headshot variation. You can go for crit, that's not a problem at all, and there's so many different weapons you can use with a build like this. So for any PVE content in the game, group play, solo play, this is going to be one of the best builds in the game. Here it is here. So I want to make sure you guys understand that you can go for crit. You do not have to go for headshot damage, but I recommend it, especially if you're on PC. Now that's why I've gone for it. And to be honest, I trade off one or two of the pieces from time to time. So you might want to pay attention to the video. Hopefully you guys don't skip it. So with a setup like this, I would recommend going for pretty much all blues. And I do believe that the new Centurion's holster is going to be very beneficial here, and that's because we can get a lot of utility here, not only just reload speed, instant reload pretty much, and magazine size, but the rate of fire helps stack Heartbreaker because sometimes it can bug out. Sometimes Heartbreaker doesn't work. You just need to swap to your linked laser pointer secondary weapon, spam them, and then you should be able to stack it back up. And because using a shotgun is even more powerful with the RPM, sometimes I will actually have the first buff on my shotgun to get the stacks, and this is because I have got, so we need to pulse enemies. If you guys don't know, we need to pulse enemies to gain Heartbreaker stacks. So you can use the normal scanner pulse, or you can just shoot them in the head. That's what you need to do using Heartbreaker. Or you can use a linked laser pointer from the technician specialization. Use a weapon that allows you to pop it on here. Now I use exotic weapons. More specifically, I use the Eagle Bearer and the Bighorn. Those are the two that I like to make use of. But you can use a lot of different weapons in this game right now. As long as you've got high RPM or using a shotgun, you'll be able to stack Heartbreaker really quickly, swap to your primary, and then you're good to go. Or you can just use a shotgun as your primary, or one that's got high RPM and linked laser pointer. It doesn't matter. There's so many different ways you can play this. Just test it for yourself. It depends on your playstyle. So a linked laser pointer will automatically pulse the enemies. So that's why I've got it on the rock and roll shotgun with perfectly extra. Many different ones here. You can use the lefty for more damage if you proc a grenade, but this is just very easy. Loads of bullets to keep shooting, loads of shells, and then we can get the stacks up. Then I swap to my EB, which I'm going to go for headshots, but this is not my primary weapon that I like to use. I think generally I will use the Bighorn. The amount of damage you can get from the Bighorn and the Heartbreaker stacks plus the survivability this makes it one of the best, if not the strongest build in the game right now, because I can hit millions and millions of damage a shot, plus I can also get huge amounts of RPM to stack Heartbreaker and get godlike amount of bonus armor, which means I can run through legendary missions like they're nothing. So this is arguably top 3 guns in the game right now if you can hit your shots. And the great thing about it is from range you can still 2 to 3 shot legendary NPCs, golden ones, if you stack your cards right. So this gun is an absolute beast. You guys need to go and farm it. Go District Union on Legendary, play with the team, and ask for it at the end of the mission. That's probably the easiest way to get it. There are other ways, but that's the one. I've got like 5 doing that mission. So this gun is going to be perfect. Damage 2 targets out of cover. Make sure that's always rolled on most of your guns. The Bighorn, the way that it works, you can stack headshot damage. It is ridiculous how much damage we can get here. So I do recommend giving this setup a try with the Bighorn, but you can use EB in some situations. You can use pretty much any gun you want. Just be wary of putting linked laser pointer on it. Even SMGs can be very powerful. The Dare LMG is also one that's great, but you need to hit a headshot every couple of seconds, which is fine. You don't even need to use the linked laser pointer. It really is just dependent on your situation and how you play. The Dare doesn't have that option. You can't actually put the linked laser, which I think is annoying because it comes with perfect flatline, which is a great talent to go for this. The Kingbreaker is going to be more viable here. Even though the RPM isn't very good, we can get higher RPM from the holster now. So it makes a lot of other guns that were not as viable now. So you need to decide on what kind of weapons you want to go for. But I recommend the Bighorn here. It's just perfect. And then swap to your shotgun, get the stacks up, pulsing enemies, you're good to go. Like I said before, I tried Adrenaline Rush, and you can use other talents that stack armor, bonus armor when you kill an enemy. That's more situational. I don't recommend any kind of like on-kill buffs, because you could go for something like Concussion. You could go for another one where you get stacks of bonus armor when you kill an enemy. That's fine, but it's going to be more situational. The Matador is good, and this works really well. I absolutely recommend this. The Matador I did use for a few days, and it was all right, but I found way more utility from the backpacks. Let's take a look how Heartbreaker works. So Heartbreaker gives us AR LMG damage, weapon handling, which is nice. Headshots apply pulse. Basically, we hit shots on pulse enemies, we get bonus armor and weapon damage. This has been buffed now, which makes it very strong, up to a max of 50 stacks. This chest piece gives us from 50 to 100 for both of these elements, so it's just really good and a must use. Backpack takes the bonus armor gain from 1% to 2%, huge amounts, 200%, it's just a must have. So in my opinion, when you're using a Heartbreaker build, the backpack is very strong. Now you can switch the mask out, and you can use a backpack like I said before, the Matador, or you can use Vigilance, because when your bonus armor takes damage, it doesn't count as you taking damage. It's like a different element, different person taking damage. Bonus armor is its own separate entity. So when you take damage, you're not actually taking damage, and you keep Vigilance up. That can be strong for a distance LMG variation. Simple. You can go for a Cheska or a Grupo or a whatever. It doesn't matter. Petrov backpack with a Vigilance. That is one of the go-to ways of playing Heartbreaker in the past of what I posted. The reason why I've gone for this, like I said before, is to get huge amounts of bonus armor for the tricky parts where you get caught by enemies and I can survive, because it's a lot more bonus armor this way, and it's pretty much instant with the shotgun and the RPM combination. So like I said before, guys, this is going to be a headshot variant. So I decided to go for this mask, which is by no means the best in slot. So headshot, I can get 30% because this is the named chill out mask. I wanted to get 5% bonus armor, or total armor, should I say. That scales with the rest of the setup because I want to be as tanky as possible. So the chill out mask is going to be one of the best ways, because I can just put headshot damage, 30%. Now you can go for a Providence and get a few percent headshot damage more, but then you're losing all the armor. Yes, you can have another tribute, but why would you do that when I can stack the armor from the chill out mask, or the healer guard, should I say. But that's why I've gone for this. You can go for the Night Watcher if you want to use the scanner pulse, because then you get 100% scanner pulse haste, which means you'll have your pulse up all the time, because the duration is over 9 seconds and you get it back within 9 seconds. So you can constantly spam this. So if you want to use this, you can, but I don't need to. I just hit a headshot, then I can beam out and get my stacks with Heartbreaker. They are very different. There are very many combinations here that you can go for, very many pieces you can go for. It is completely up to you. You can choose many different ones. You can go for a Providence. You can go for even just put you can just put a Heartbreaker mask on, and you can also maybe choose the Eagle's Grasp gloves if you struggle to shoot with weapon handling. Magazine size is also very handy, especially with some of the passive modifiers. So it really just depends on what you want. You could also even go for the named Punch Drunk mask, which I do have in my stash here, which can give you a good amount of headshot damage as well, especially if you're going to use the pistol. So the Punch Drunk mask gives us 20% headshot damage plus 20 pistol. If you're going to use a pistol like a Regulus, if you're only using high-end guns, then you can put the Regulus on and have another way of surviving. But I wouldn't really go that route. It's up to you though, you can if you wish. So you can get a pretty high amount of headshot damage, but then are you going to be using a pistol? It's up to you. So it really just depends on what you want. You can even go for some swap speed. I mean, that could increase your DPS technically, but the swapping of the guns I'm using is not very slow and it works quite well. Like I said before, you can get 10% here, another 10, 10, 20, 33%, which is 3% more than what I'm using. But yes, I can get another attribute, but what am I going to put there? I don't really need that slot, and I'd rather have 5% armor, which scales with the setup. So there are many different ways, but trust me, this is definitely by far my favorite version. But I guess there are going to be some situations where I may switch this up. It depends on the difficulty, so just keep that in mind. Then the holster is going to be perfect. Now you can just swap. I like to use the first buff on my bighorn. It's very strong, but it depends on if I have lower magazine size for one of the modifiers, and I might use the second one. It doesn't really matter. We can beam out. This build works with modifiers on or off. So every single piece is going to have headshot damage, and every single modification is going to be headshot damage. It is that simple. Literally every single piece. So just put that on all your pieces. I know that this has got crit chance, but that's okay. I guess it doesn't really change too much. We've got 16%, whatever. It might help a little bit, but crit damage is pretty low. But this setup is nice. Now you can go for some hazard protection also. It just depends. You can also, and I think this is another point I want to make with this build, we can actually have 4 protection from elites mods, which is something I do actually do if I'm going to be playing a mission where there's lots of golden NPCs. Then I can get quite a lot. If you've got 13%, 13 times 4, that's quite a bit. Use survivalist spec. Just remember you don't have a link laser pointer, but that's going to be a way to do it. So I've got shield and decoy, and that's pretty much the setup. Let me take a look. Let's take a look at the global modifiers when you guys want to activate them. I've gone for liability. It's all close range. It's up to you though. Impatient is how I'm getting so much rate of fire. Reload time is great, but the mag size is reduced. That's why I use a second buff for the holster sometimes. You don't have to use these ones. I just prefer these. I like persistence for the reload speed, movement speed, and accuracy. It actually does help. But you can also go for drawback. I found this to bug out, and it was actually making my aiming worse. So I don't actually like this one, but you can go for it. Or if you wanted to get some buffs from longer ranges, you can do that to be able to do damage from long range, like by the teeth. But then you have to hit body shots. But you can still stack this up, especially on robotics, because when you're fighting robotics, it can be quite tricky because you can't really hit them in the head. So you need to use your shotgun or pulse them manually. But I get rid of them. I get rid of the operators, so then they die anyway. So it's up to you what ones you go for here. As when we look at hostile modifiers, you're just going to get up close. The damage is too high and the survivability is too high. Don't even worry. You just beam them out and you tank everything with this setup. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Peace out.